Welcome to part 9 of the Deep Space Nine space station build-up. Got some progress that I wanted to share with you. We've got the grey wash that's been put down on the ship, and then I've given that a coat of clear varnish just to help seal the paint and to also protect the paint as well from any scratches that might happen whilst I'm manhandling this. I don't really fancy scratching it at this stage of the game, to be fair. So we've also got the channels run through there at the base of the pylons. That's really just for the wires to run through from the pylon so they can go into the inner part of the ship and then meet up with the main power wires that are running around the inside of the docking ring. I've also got 2 little holes drilled there for the wires to go through for the strips of LED lighting that are going to go there. And that will basically be for the the windows that I've put in at the base of the pylons as well. So that's done. The sensor bands are actually lost some of the brightness now because of the grey wash that's been put on there. And we've also got some of the grey wash that's built up around some of the nooks and crannies as well. And that, I guess, helps to simulate some of the dirt and the grime that will actually build up on them. So what I'll do is I'll just zoom in on those so you can see what they look like. And it's just, let's have a look. There we go. Let's go for these ones here. So there you go. That's what they're starting to look like now. As I say, you can see some of the grey wash that's built up in those to help simulate the dirt and the grime. So that's, as I say, that's starting to look pretty good. And then if we bring the camera back out and then flip the model over, you can now start to see some of the wires that are inside the ship. So we've got the wires that run in there. I've got the positive running on the inside and the negative running on the outside. That's pretty much well the way that I do it on the other builds as well. These are only taped in place at the moment with masking tape. The main reason why I haven't put those in place at the moment is because with the lighting, because I'm running everything in parallel, I will need to connect these up to the main wires. So I really need to find out the final resting place for these wires and then mark them on the main wires. And then once I've done that, I can basically burn the protective coating off of these wires and then solder these to them. And then hopefully they should, keep fingers crossed, they should work. It's going to take a little while to do these because there is, I think, about 18 of these to do in total. Now, soldering isn't exactly my area of expertise, so it does take me a little while to do it. But the good thing is, every time I do it, obviously I get a little bit faster. But it is going to take me a good little while to actually get these in place and all the wires finalised. So as soon as I've done that, I will come back to you with another update. Richard back with you for a quick update. I've got most of the work finished now on the docking ring. As you can see, all 3 pylons are in. And I had to get those installed first. I know that I said I was going to install those last. But it did occur to me that I needed to route the wiring through for the observation windows and get those into the main wiring running through the ring. And I actually felt more comfortable in getting the docking ports attached first and then getting the wiring sorted out on the main wiring before it was actually glued into place, because I didn't want to risk damaging the plastic with the heat from the soldering gun. So I got those in first, and then I flipped it over, and then I got all the main wiring in and all the main lights in. So everything now, apart from the little beacon lights at the top, is actually up and running. So it's actually starting to look really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop there for a second. I'm going to get this flipped the right way over now and get it attached to this little stand that I'm using as a makeshift, really. This is the stand that the model come with, but I'm just using this as a makeshift stand, really, just so I can get everything centered on it. So I'm going to get it put onto this, and then I'll get it connected to the power, and I'll come back to you so you can see what it looks like with some of the lights running through the pylons, etc. So if you bear with me, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so this is what she's looking like now with the lights on. You can see we've got the viewing ports down the bottom there with the lights, and then you can just about see them from that distance, but we've got a couple of windows on either side at the base of the pylon there as well, and that's replicated on all three as well. So it's not looking too bad, and as you can see, you can just barely see some of the lights up the top there. This is still actually a little bit warped, but I'm hoping that once the top's on, that will settle down a bit better. So what I'll do is I'll just zoom in to the back pylon so you can see the lights there. So that's what they're looking like now they're in position. Now unfortunately this one has got a little bit of overspray with paint on the inside, which is a bit of a shame, but it doesn't detract from it too much. It doesn't make too much of a difference, so it's not too bad. And then if we just tilt upwards, there you go, you can actually now see the windows that have been placed on either side at the top there. So they're not looking too bad either. And then if we just try and give you a view of what the top section looks like with all the lighting and the wiring. So there you go, that's what that's looking like. Now that did, as I said, the soldering isn't exactly my strongest suit. It does take me quite time to do it. It took me about sort of 3.5 hours to do that. So it's not too bad actually, really, considering the amount of lights that have gone in there. And as you can see on this part of the pylon here, and then also on this one there, and then the one at the back, we've got a similar setup with those actually on the inside of these pylons for those little windows on either side. And when the top goes on, that will also have a similar effect going on as well. So all in all, at the moment, progress isn't too bad. It's still a long way to go, obviously. The biggest thing that I need to do now to this is start getting all of the panel detailing on there, and that is going to take a little while, to be fair. So I'm going to get cracking on with that, guys, and as soon as I've got that finished, I will come back to you with another update. Richard back with you for another update. So I've been working on the panel lines on the outer edges of the lower docking ring and also the lower pylons. I've yet to do the inside of the pylons or the inside of the docking ring. I also need to do both of the sides as well for the docking rings. But it's not looking too bad. I have, if I'm to be honest, worked myself up into a bit of a tiz-was over the panel lines, because it's something that I've never really done before. I was trying to figure out fancy formulas of how to lay the masking tape down, and you know, the different angles, etc., to try and get the panel lines. And in the end, I gave myself such a headache, wound myself up so much about it. I just thought to myself, well, you know, sod it. What we're going to do is we're just going to lay the masking tape down. Wherever it lands is where the panel lines are going to be, and as long as the masking tape looks as though it's reasonably straight, we're going to go ahead and do it. So that's what we've done, rightly or wrongly. That's the way that I've done the panel lines. So you know, anybody out there that can do these panel lines and you know is pretty good at them, You know, if you can give me any hints or tips for the future, that would be fantastic, because it's something that I would like to learn how to do. But I've used 3 different colours to do this. The first one, which is this one here, is the Tamiya Buff XF57, and that's quite good because it does have a slight grey tinge to it, so it does fit into the overall theme here. So it does look as though it's one of the darker panels that's actually gone down. And then we've got this little patch here, which is the XF57 buff, but I've also added a little drop of the XF2, which is the flat white, just to lighten it down, to make it look as though it's a slightly younger panel. And then we've got this one here, which is the primary colour of the space station, which is a 1-to-1 ratio of the Desert Yellow XF59 and the XF2 flat white. So that, I guess that would represent a brand new panel that's been put in. So they're not looking too bad. So what I'll do is I'll just pan the camera down a bit for you. This is getting a bit too large now to really get in one shot, but as you can see there, we've got some more panel lines going down there. Some of these ones on the bottom do look a little bit repetitive, but if I'm to be honest, that's the way that I wanted these ones to look. But you can see we're starting to make some progress there on these panel lines, and then we're coming up to the second pylon there. And if I just tilt it back up again, you can actually see that on this one there are different patterns coming through, and we're starting to see some really thin sort of lines coming through. And then if we go back down again, so you can see some more on the docking ring. So that's what that's starting to look like on that side. And then we come round to the third and final pylon. And then if we just take the camera back up again, so you can see there's some different style of the patterns going on there. So all in all, it's starting to look pretty good. One of the other things that I did have to work on, if I bring this back round and pan you back round, I'm sorry if I'm making you feel a bit sick with all this panning, but if we close in a little bit on this so you can see, wrong way, there we go. So around this area you can see we've got some lighter areas. Basically what I've had to do is go back in there, because we've had a seam in that area on all 3 of them. So I've gone in with the perfect plastic putty just to get rid of the seam, and also help the light leaks that are in those areas. And then I've gone back over that again with the primary colour on the ship. And what I'll need to do now is just go back over that again with the grey wash. Now that might darken those areas down a bit, but as far as I'm concerned, that's not really a problem, because these are the kind of corners where you are going to really get some build-up of any sort of debris or dirt and grime. So that's okay if they're going to be a little bit darker. So I'll be happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly set this up for you, because it's pretty dark at the moment, and I'd like to be able to show you the little windows that are at the bottom here, and also the lights around these areas as well. I know I've shown them to you before, but we haven't seen them in the dark yet, and they do look quite good. And it'll give you a good idea of how the overall sort of theme of the station is going to be. So I'll just get that set up for you, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've got this set up for you now, so you can see the lights at the bottom and also the lights at the top there. So I'll just get the light turned off. And there you go. So that's what that's going to start looking like. I'll just see if we can pan in a little bit. There you go. So you can now see there the individual window. Well, you could, until the camera decided not to focus. There you go. So, oh, no, I don't think the camera really likes working in the dark. Let's see if we can. There you go, that looks a little bit better. So you can see there the individual windows on those lights. And then if we just take this down a little bit so you can see those windows. So that's what they're starting to look like. I think the camera's just struggling there a little bit to focus in the dark. But what I'll do is I'm going to take you up to the second floor. And so you can see what the light effect is going to be like on the inside. Let's just zoom back out again. So there you go. So that's what the inside's going to look like. And if we take it up a little bit more, you should be able to see a bit more detail of how the lights are going to look. Okay, so there you go. You can see that we've got the different layers of lights going in there. So all I need to really do on this model, oh sorry, on the lower docking ring, as I say, is just get the rest of the panel lines done on the inside, and then I just need to also get the SMDs that I've been talking about on the inside, and also the ones for the docking rings as well, for the floodlights to go down onto the pylons. So as soon as I've got some more work done on this, I will come back to you with another update. Richard back with you for another update. So I've got most of the work done now to the lower section of the docking ring and the pylons. I've done all of the patch panel work that I want to do to it. I didn't want to do too much, but there and again I didn't want to do too little. But it doesn't look too bad at the moment. That will settle down once it's had another coat of lacquer over the top of it. Well, I'm hoping it will anyway. But for a first go at doing something like this, I don't think it actually turned out too bad. So I'm kind of quietly pleased, really, with the way that this has turned out. But I'll just show you some of the work on the pylons. I'll just zoom into this one here. Okay, I think, as I said before, I'm not really a Steven Spielberg when it comes to camera work. So you can see some there of the work that's been done to the pylons. You can see we've got the three different colours coming through. So we've got, that is the buff with the white added, and that's just the primary colour there. And then just there we've got the just the ordinary buff. So it's not looking too bad. And then if we just come down a little bit, and then if you concentrate on the inside of the ring there, whoops, sorry, wrong way, you can see some of the work that I've done to the inside of the ring. As I said, I didn't want to do too much, but I think it looks okay. You know, if we swing round, we've also done some work to the inside of the pylons as well that you can see there, and that's not looking too bad either. And then if we can just zoom out a little bit and then zoom into this other pylon, you can see some more of the work that's been done. Some of them, like this one here, as you can see, it's sort of been wrapped around. I've done a few of those where I've just wrapped the repairs around, you know, so it kind of simulates that massive chunks have been repaired on the model. And again, around this area you can see some of the inner portions of the ring that have had the patch panels put to it. So I'm quite happy with that. Let me just zoom back out again for you. So the only thing that I need to do now, which I'm going to cover off in the next video because this one is getting a bit long in the tooth again, I'm just going to just need to put the little floodlights in on these points here to light up this area really of the lower pylons. And I also need to get in place those lights around that area really for the windows that are going to be down the side there. So I'm going to cover that off in I think it's going to be part 10, I believe. I think this is part 9. Sometimes I forget, but I'll get that covered off in the next one, and I will also be making a start on the upper pylon, or sorry, the upper section of the docking ring and the upper pylons, and then once that's completed, it will then be nearly time to actually put the whole thing together. So I'm going to crack on, get this sorted out, and I will update you in the next video. So until then, thanks for watching, and please do take care.